As of Friday, April 12th, Real Clear Politics has Joe Biden as the 2020 Democratic presidential frontrunner. And that's been the case in just about every poll this year, despite the fact that old Uncle Joe has been caught in what looks like some compromising situations. Now, Uncle Joe's hands-on attitude is not new. Jon Stewart pointed it out on The Daily Show back in 2015. But of course, in the #MeToo era, it has become more than just a joke. This incident involving Stephanie Carter, wife of Ash Carter, has gotten the most attention, but she steadfastly denies there was anything untoward from Biden, stating that the Joe Biden in my picture is a close friend helping someone get through a big day, for which I will always be grateful. So as the sole owner of my story, it's high time that I reclaim it from strangers, Twitter, the pundits and the late-night hosts. Carter recalled the day in detail, saying she was uncharacteristically nervous and that she slipped and fell on ice when they arrived at the Pentagon. She said Biden leaned toward her as her husband spoke to tell me, "Thank you for letting him do this," and kept his hands on my shoulders as a means of offering his support. But of course, one woman's support is another woman's uncomfortable moment. Lucy Flores recently wrote this piece about the awkward kiss that changed how she saw Joe Biden. Flores claims Biden put his hands on her shoulders, leaned in behind her, inhaled her hair, and proceeded to plant a big slow kiss on the back of her head. Flores says that Biden's behaviour with her and others shows a lack of empathy for the women and young girls whose space he is invading, and ignores the power imbalance that exists between Biden and the women he chooses to get cozy with. It should be noted there is no video of the incident and no corroborating witnesses have come forward. About a week later, Biden came out with a 2-minute video stating that he would be more mindful of women's personal space, noting that social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility, and I'll meet it. Immediately after that, 3 more women surfaced with reports of feeling uncomfortable after being subject to Biden's attentions. One of them said she believed Biden's intentions were good and that she did not feel it was an instance of sexual harassment or assault. But it was the kind of inappropriate behaviour that makes many women feel uncomfortable and unequal in the workplace. Biden issued a statement after the first allegations came to light, saying it was not his intent to make anyone uncomfortable. His remarks were dismissed by some as tone deaf. Now, yes, Uncle Joe is learning that in the Me Too era, accusations are evidence and intentions don't matter. Biden maintains his actions are innocent, saying his displays of public affection are how he connects with people. He said he acted the same with men and women. I found that scores, if not hundreds of people have come up to me and reached out for solace or comfort, something, anything that might help them through the tragedy they're going through. And so it's just who I am. And I've never thought of politics as cold or antiseptic. I've always thought about it as connecting with people, shaking hands, a hand on the shoulder, a hug or encouragement. So what are we to believe? Is Uncle Joe really creepy Uncle Joe, or is it all just well-intentioned support and affection? Well, perhaps it's both. Remember, Stephanie Carter claims that Biden was a close personal friend and that she was grateful for his support. In Flores' case, he didn't really know her that well. He was there to lend support for her campaign for Lieutenant Governor of Nevada. Now, Flores' account sounds overly dramatic when you read it, but I can imagine that if you were standing, waiting to go on stage and you felt 2 hands on your shoulders and that person leaning in, inhaling your hair, and then kissing you on the back of the head, that might be a little creepy. My take is Biden's intentions are genuine. He's not some kind of sexual predator. He's just one of those touchy-feely people that probably should have realised a while ago that not everybody appreciates the gesture, especially people that aren't close friends. But no one ever pulled him up on it because of who he is. Now, of course, Joe's creepiness, however well-intentioned, has given his opposition a softball with which they have been taking full advantage, and who can blame them for exploiting it? Some of the memes have been spectacular, and I've shared a few on social media myself. Even the president got in on the act, retweeting this absolute perler. But all this focus misses the mark somewhat, because there are much more legitimate reasons to criticise Biden and cut him absolutely no slack whatsoever. You see, Biden has been at the forefront of policies that deprive men of due process in campus sexual assault disputes. Biden is asking for a level of understanding of his actions that he was unwilling to grant to men accused of sexual misconduct on college campuses. In 2011, he, along with then Education Secretary Arne Duncan, announced the release of the now infamous Dear Colleague letter that radically changed how sexual misconduct cases were handled on university campuses by broadening the definitions of misconduct and, more importantly, lowering the standard of proof, essentially reversing the innocent until proven guilty standard to guilty until proven innocent. Furthermore, the intention of the accused was to be disregarded. Evaluation of campus claims of sexual harassment and assault rested on the subjective feelings of the accuser. If Biden had been on campus, his plea that it was not his intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable would have been dismissed out of hand. As Emily Yoffe reported in Politico, in 2014 the White House issued a report called Not Alone, which provided schools with a model climate survey that gave this definition of punishable behaviour. Sexual violence refers to a range of behaviours that are unwanted by the recipient and include remarks about physical appearance, persistent sexual advances that are undesired by the recipient, unwanted touching, and unwanted oral, anal, or vaginal penetration or attempted penetration. In other words, the Obama administration expanded the definition of sexual violence to include compliments or the kind of touching often unasked for and sometimes unwelcome that Biden has engaged in for years. While speaking to students at the University of New Hampshire in 2011, then Vice President Joe Biden told men in the audience that no matter what a girl does, no matter how she's dressed, no matter how much she's had to drink, it's never, 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 never okay to touch her without her consent. I see, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do type things. Here's Biden just a year ago advocating on behalf of the campus-based It's On Us movement.
You know, we've exposed the brutal reality of sexual assault, and now is no time to turn back. Ask your friends. Take the pledge, the It's On Us pledge, the same pledge you took, to say that sexual assault and rape culture will not stand. Speak out. Make your views known. As long as I have a breath in my body, I'm going to fight to change this culture. I won't stop, and neither should you. Please, please.
That's right, folks. Joe is never going to stop. The new Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, has been attempting to undo the kangaroo court system on college campuses that Biden helped devise. Biden's furious response was to describe DeVos's supporters as culturally Neanderthals. The Dear Colleague letter and the watering down of due process on university campuses has had disastrous results. Since 2011, nearly 400 accused students have taken their schools to court, many of them winning their cases as judges increasingly find their rights to equal treatment under Title IX have been violated. But Biden shows no contrition for any of this. Instead, he's still pandering to the female vote, as he's been doing since 1994 when he championed the Violence Against Women Act. He's recently been lamenting his role in the Anita Hill hearings and decried the Kavanaugh hearings, arguing that the white man's culture of the country's most powerful institutions must be changed to give women's voices greater power. In almost 30 years, the institutional culture has not changed. That diminishes the likelihood that women will come forward. Well, a few women have come forward now, Creepy Joe, so shouldn't we just listen and believe? As I said earlier, Biden is no sexual predator, but if he does end up being thrown under the bus that he himself has been driving for decades, no one should feel one bit sorry for him. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.